What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Last Word Music, and today we are starting our first episode of a segment that we hope to continue probably once every, 2-3 weeks?
We were initially thinking kind of once a month, but, we love doing this stuff. We love talking. We might even do it, more like every 2 to 3 weeks. Just kind of depends on whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, so today we will be reviewing a classic hip-hop album. And basically what that entails, it's got to be an older album from a well-known artist that we just go back and take a look at because you know what? We like looking at good hip-hop. We like looking at classics.
And if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to hit us up.
Absolutely.
We'll review whatever. Even if it's not hip-hop, we're open-minded. And I just want to correct you on the one thing, Chuck. Not only like old classics, you know what I'm saying? Like we'll be down to review like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like, that stuff's only like 10 years old, but it's still a classic, you know what I'm saying?
I consider classics like 10 years old, though.
Okay, so that's fair, yeah.
Yeah, that's just my opinion with hip-hop. So today, guys, the reason why he brings up My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is because we will be reacting to The College Dropout by Kanye West.
First album
from Ye. And what a career he has went on to have, filled with many mental breakdowns. But you know what? You can't deny he's one of the best rappers ever.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, do you remember like a year ago when everybody was coming out with all those like top 50 rappers lists and all this stuff? And to be honest with you, there was a lot of disrespect towards Kanye. Like he wasn't on there a lot because, in all honesty, like there's an argument that you can make that he's not like one of the most skillful rappers.
Yeah.
And people say that he's had some ghostwritten stuff. There's been some controversy there. Mm-hmm. But as a producer and as a storyteller, Kanye's up there as one of the best. Yeah,
Unmatched.
He's phenomenal.
He just knows what sounds good, man. And like
the classic soul samples, those are sweet, bro.
I'm right with you on that. Okay, so as you guys know, the way we review albums for a category system, first category is lyricism worth 20 points. And College Dropout is Kanye at his pinnacle height with lyricism. He brings up some good things about mental health, brings up some good things about his past, the whole college dropout theme that he somehow ties into that little thing throughout the songs. I actually have a lyric written down. We are all self-conscious, and I'm just the first to admit it, and all falls down. That's a bar. Spaceship goes hard with the lyricism. You know what I'm talking about? Jesus Walks might be his best showcase with lyricism maybe to date.
Yeah, that was a good one, man.
Like, so many, not double entendres, but punchlines, because you notice, like, Kanye's not big on double entendres, but boy, does he set up some punchlines.
Yeah, I mean, this album is honestly pretty funny in a lot of spots.
Yeah.
And it's kind of unexpected, And the skits, I think, too, are also a huge part of the album. Mm-hmm. But even just within the songs, he does a really good job of kind of like explaining his rags to riches story, and kind of like his rise as like a producer, for JayZ and kind of like underground and becoming like this mainstream rapper and like the struggles that he went through. And he exploits a lot of like social norms and stuff, and kind of like, differences between people that he feels are just like silly and arbitrary. But he never really gets corny with his bars, you know what I mean? And I think that's a key
Except
thing.
on New Workout Plan, but like that whole song was corny.
But that's honestly kind of like a joke,
Yeah. I mean, as long as like you have the intention of it being corny, because like, rappers do that all the time. So it's still enjoyable.
And the last song on the album. It's 12 minutes long.
So long.
So some people aren't vibing with it. I think it's phenomenal, though.
It's a good song.
It is such a good story, too, man.
Yeah.
Such a good song.
It was too long for me.
It's like this expertly crafted account of his life, dude. And it's just over like this subtle like jazz background. Mm-hmm. And, I think another thing, too, is like you have to remember this is kind of in the height of like, an era where gangster rap and kind of like bling rap was getting really big.
Yeah.
There wasn't a ton of as like much of this like
50 Cent was dropping a lot of
artsy rap, kind of like, like classic soul samples. And I think Kanye does a really cool job of like not really falling prey to like the trends of popular music at the time.
He's doing his own stuff and worked out for him. So for lyricism, I gave him an 18 out of 20.
Yeah, I gave him a 19.
19.
But both pretty high.
Yeah, okay. The flow of the album. So you can listen to the album in the intended order from start to finish. And in my opinion, I thought the flow of the album worked really, really, really well. Like the transitions between different songs, the different moods, still kept the same idea of like the college dropout, his life story.
Yeah.
The skits, honestly,
were phenomenal.
Skits were phenomenal because they
funny.
were good segues,
And they,
super funny,
great
super
segues.
entertaining, but at the same time kept you locked in on that central purpose, and they led in very well to the next song.
Some of them were even pretty melodic too. Like,
Yeah.
they're actually kind of nice to listen
Yeah,
to.
and then one thing I really love about like listening to an album from start to finish is when songs lead into other songs.
Yeah,
Because I think
totally.
that's just, it's so like aesthetically pleasing to listen to. Because like, you know, Roddy Ricch did that on his last album. Guys,
Yeah.
like, I mean, Kanye has shown more than once that he can do that. So.
I mean, me personally, I don't know. I feel like I enjoy an album and music so much more when I just like sit down and listen to the album like start to finish the way that
100%
the
agree.
artist intended you to hear it. You know, I think they're trying to tell a story. It's really a piece of art, and if you just like give it your full undivided attention, it's a much better experience for you. I think the album's flow, like you said, is phenomenal. Each song kind of builds the story of like Kanye's rise. The one song, I actually gave it a 9 instead of a 10, even though I loved it, because of New Workout Plan, which you mentioned before.
Yeah.
The song is actually pretty catchy and pretty funny.
It is.
But it just doesn't really fit into
doesn't.
like the
I
themes of
agree
the
with
album,
that.
like right in the middle of it.
I almost gave it a 9 because of that, but
Yeah,
I just,
but
I
otherwise,
liked it.
skits are great and they're hilarious. You know, they all complement the track order. Yeah.
Yeah, so I gave it a 10. Just, yeah. It was very phenomenal, but I do agree with New Workout Plan. I just overlooked it. Okay, so next is features worth 10 points, and features on this album were phenomenal.
Yeah, I loved him.
Phenomenal features.
Kanye has always been kind of like DJ Khaled, but talented.
Yeah,
If
like-
you get what I'm saying. Like he
Kanye
brings
can
together,
actually get
he
on
brings
the track,
together a ton of great people. He merges their voices really well. He produces. Well, DJ Khaled really doesn't produce. But the point is he brings together
He just
good
screams his
artists.
name.
And
He
then
just
on
screams
top
his
of that, Kanye's a good producer and a good rapper. And he has a creative vision. And so it's so cool to see him almost like use the different voices that we're familiar with guys like JayZ and Common and Mos Def, and merge them onto his songs.
And, like, don't forget about Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx cannot
Jamie
be
Foxx
on
is
a
nice,
bad
man.
track,
Ludacris
dude.
was on the track. He was
It
nice.
no, I didn't like Ludacris.
Really? I don't know. I thought
Ludacris
that one was
doing the hook though. He was doing the hook. He was like, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Like, what is he saying?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
it was kind of wacky, but like it was more of like a storytelling song.
Yeah, I get that, but like, Ludacris is really good at like hopping on a track, maybe like a second verse, third verse type guy, and just like spit in, but like not for a hook. I'm sorry,
I can
not for
feel
a
you
hook.
with that. I thought JayZ's verse was kind of the best.
JayZ's first was phenomenal.
That was my favorite.
JayZ and Common
then,
were probably the two bright spots.
what's her
from the
name?
features.
Like Silena Johnson or something from All
From All
Falls
Falls
Down.
Down.
She
I mean,
did a
everybody
fantastic
knows
job
that
too.
hook. Everybody knows that hook because
Yep,
it's just
very
it's
famous.
phenomenal. Jay Ivy on the song with JayZ was
Never Let Me Down.
it was off the beat. His flow was completely off the beat.
Rapping like Blueface out
Rapping
here.
like Blueface in like what 2001 when this album came out or something like that. Flow was horrible. No meaningful subject matter, but he was it sounded like he was preaching. But then you actually listen to the lyrics and he's not saying anything meaningful. So that's another like issue I had with features. If I had issues, I gave it a 9 out of 10 because it was just Ludacris and Jay Ivy that didn't do it for me. But all the other features were absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
in my
I actually
opinion.
gave features a 10. Although, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, I could see a 9. I loved the variety of sounds that he used.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. And that's very aesthetically pleasing when you get a lot of variety and features on an album. 100% agree. Okay, the artist performance worth 20 points. This is prime Kanye. This is Kanye probably at his pinnacle. I mean,
first album was
can,
phenomenal.
You can argue like Late Registration. You can argue like
I might even like Late
different sounds
Registration
because
more
he's a
than
very
this,
different.
but they're both great.
Yeah, I mean he's a very like he's an artist that like transcended into like a new sound. After
Totally,
this
album inspired too
developed.
such a new trend in the hip hop industry.
Yeah.
Like he kind of changed the sound that would come along.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, really, what can we say here? Like, for Kanye's first album, like, what this meant to him was just huge. It was his breakthrough as a rapper. Like, before this, he was just kind of known as a guy who had been a really good producer on some of, like, JayZ's albums, like Blueprint and stuff, but he never really had his own name, and he had really been trying to break through, like, as a rapper, and this was it. And he showed so many unique ideas that just became so famous for him, so synonymous with his name, and became staples in the music industry, like the signature, like soul sampling and his storytelling, you know, is very personable. And I don't know, it was kind of weird to listen to this rapper who's kind of like an art college guy instead of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like the stuff he was saying, like it touched you emotionally. Yeah. And it's weird because like you think about Kanye today, some of the stuff he says doesn't touch you emotionally anymore. Like
Chick-fil-A.
Like Chick-fil-A? Yeah. It was really fun for me to listen to. And Kanye singing on the hooks sounded good.
Totally.
Like some Kanye hooks that we will see in the future after this album don't sound good. But probably this is, in my opinion, this was his second best album for him singing the hooks other than like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because that one just escalated everything. That's my favorite
going in
album.
Before I listened to this again. Like I listened to it before, but I listened to it the other night, obviously, for the review. And going in, Late Registration was my favorite Kanye album. And then I kind of had like a 2A and a 2B, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and this.
And this one.
And this has really made me rethink Late Registration in that top spot, man. Just listening to the whole thing.
Late Registration's got Gold Digger on it, though.
Dude, Gold Digger's super nice, but what's the one? I don't know. My favorite one is the one, I can't remember the name of the track right now, but with Nas, dude. It's great. It's like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
It's like We Famous or something like that. God, I can't think of it right now.
I can't think of it either.
Great track.
I can look that up right now.
Anyways, I think Kanye's love for like music and passion for life is like super evident on this album. Like he's so much more energetic than he is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, usually. And it all really starts on the track Through the Wire, which is kind of based off of like, it's like the foundation for the album.
We Major.
Based off of like his We Major. Yeah, that one is so great. But it's based off of like how he had his jaw wired after a car accident, you know, before the album. And he was writing the song while he was in the hospital. And it just, I don't know, he seems so much more engaged with the audience.
I 100% agree. I gave him a 19 out of 20 just because I knew it wasn't his best performance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I said a 20 just because, you know, some of the stuff we said in the rubric was like what the album meant to him, you know, and I think as like a breakthrough album, his first album, and like revolutionizing not only his game, but also like the rap game as a whole, I put that as like a 20.
Okay.
But, you know, 19, obviously. I'm not going to fight you over it.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing with me is that I like, just like as a whole, I like albums, or not.
Well, not giving albums. Things like 20s and stuff.
But I like to be more critical on that. But the thing with me is that I like to hear how rappers deal with fame and how they cope with like their like post-tour depression or whatever, or like their anxiety or whatever.
And that's probably why you think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is his best album.
That's where he copes with all that.
Yeah, I mean, a problem on this is it's his first, like, he's not famous.
That's the only thing that can't really change. So like my score won't change, but it's not like I think it was bad. You know, like I gave it a 19 out of 20.
Pretty dang nice. Okay,
bangers. So we actually had a discussion about this before, and I thought there was a lot of bangers on here.
I gave him a 5 out of 10 on bangers.
And I could not
Chuck
fathom.
gave him higher.
I gave him a 10. I gave him a 10 out of 10 on bangers. Album,
I didn't think many of the songs were like slapping hard. Like, I'm really going to like listen to this while I'm working out or something, or like trying to get hyped. That, for me, doesn't really matter.
Jesus Walks might be my walk-up song this year for baseball.
That's fair, but like, I loved almost all the tracks on this album. I can't think of one that I didn't really like. But the point is, I just didn't think any of them. I thought most of them were more focused on like storytelling or like a soul sample or something, or just like a different type of music than like your classic, like
that's
going
fair.
Hard, you know, boom bap rap.
Yeah, that's fair. But like, come on, classics like All Fall Down.
Yeah, well, but like, All Falls Down isn't a banger.
You know I consider it a banger.
Well, it depends on how you define a banger.
What do you consider a banger?
Like, for me, a banger is something that goes hard. A banger is like, you know what I'm saying, like the Predator, like Ice Cube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like Mad City. Like a banger is like, it slaps and you're like vibing.
I consider, because like I put slow jams on here too. It's just like,
If you're
it's
just
something
saying-
I can vibe with.
If you're saying a banger is like a super nice song that you can like groove with, then yeah, you know, I would probably give it a much higher rating than a 5. I kind of interpret it as like, you know, songs that are like going hard.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
like,
I got you. Yeah. But I gave it a 10 because there was a lot of songs that I could listen to like out of the album that I don't have to listen to with like the full listen. Re-listenability. So could I go back to this album and still enjoy it? Could I listen to it again? And obviously, because we are going back to it and listening it again and we still enjoy it, this must be a high score. The filler tracks, in my opinion, are very like good transitions.
Yeah,
and
the skits.
The skits. Not only the skits, but like I think there was a filler track.
There's like a couple like minute long tracks.
Yeah, there was
and
like,
stuff like that.
where it was just like soul, whatever. It's very easy to go through, man. I don't think I really had a least favorite song on there.
You know, I like going in. I was like marking stuff off.
New Workout Plan's hilarious.
No, I like the song. I just don't. I didn't think it was like fit in with
Yeah,
the flow
it
of the
didn't
album.
fit.
I still
I
liked
agree.
it though.
Yeah.
But like going in, I was like favorite tracks, least favorite tracks. You know.
Making the list.
Yeah, making the list, and I'm going through. I'm like, okay, favorite track. I get to one. I'm like, okay, well, I have to make a new tier because it's not a favorite track, and this is like the worst song I've heard on the album so far, and I still like it. It's just not. So I did like favorite tracks, and then I did like a good but not great, and then like there were none that I put in like the least favorite tracks tier. To be honest with you, every song here is really first rate, and the album gets better with every listen because you hear more of the story and you catch parts that you didn't get the first time around, and like the humor, you know, it gets better. Like you catch new aspects with his lyricism too.
Going back. Yeah,
I docked it a little bit actually because
did you? Okay.
I don't love kind of like the re-listenability in terms of just like going back and like shuffle playing a couple of the songs. I feel like the songs aren't as strong on their own, you know, especially compared to some of Kanye's other work where his like singles are very strong and you don't have to listen to the whole album. I feel like with College Dropout,
you have to.
Yeah, you know, I'm not really like vibing with as many of the songs individually.
I agree with that, and I docked it a little bit more too because the songs are so long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with that, man.
They're so long.
I like long tracks.
I like The Last Call, bro, and it's 12 minutes. I can't listen to that whole thing,
well, especially like...
I love Jesus Walks because it's like 2.5 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 minutes.
I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of like classic rock from my dad, you know? Yeah. And so I'm used to
you're used to the long
track, and you know, like a 12-minute Pink Floyd, just like meandering.
Like 8 minutes Stairway to Heaven or something.
But like, so I guess I'm a little more patient, you know? But I can definitely feel that. Like sometimes you just kind of, you tune it out after a while.
Yeah. And to go off of that, I mean, I would be fine with like an 8-minute track if it was like Stairway to Heaven where it like changed up the beat every now and then.
Well, The Last Call is very just repetitive, kind of like you're listening to his voice and not the music. And so if you're not like wanting to hear the story, you know, you're probably not super into it. Like
you got to go in there with like different intentions.
Yeah.
So I give it a 17 out of 20.
Yeah, I give it an 18. So
okay. Production. Kanye's a producer.
Yeah, I give him a 10.
It's a 10.
He was producing JayZ's Blueprint, and you know that's universally renowned. His work there. It's first rate production, man. Absolutely. It really is. Absolutely. I don't think we need to say much. Top notch mixing, great sound quality,
10.
Great sampler, merges features well.
All right. Overall, what'd you have it at?
Overall, my grade was a 91 out of 100. You might want to check that because that might be wrong.
Okay.
My math is not very good, boys.
I checked it. I had a 93. I give it a 93 out of 100, which was pretty high. I might have to check that as well.
Yeah, it is a 91, but that's because I gave it a 5 out of 10 on bangers.
6, 7.
If I gave it a 10 out of 10 there, then I'm chilling at 96.
I think
just because I didn't think the song slapped.
Yeah.
So I did 91.
93. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a Kanye album. It's one of his absolute better albums.
I really love this album, man. It's such a unique experience, to be honest with you. And especially compared to like what was out around the time.
Absolutely.
Like it was so different. Yeah, it introduced these like revolutionary, like sonic and thematic ideas that would shape the future of like hip hop and a ton of other like pop music that would go on throughout the 2010s.
Yeah.
You know, the songs were very, very intimate with Kanye's psyche.
Absolutely.
And I think he's done a good job of maintaining that. And people kind of see it as arrogance a lot. And it's hard to tell whether it's arrogance or just him being like brutally honest about what he thinks. Because that's kind of what it comes out to me as a lot. He's just
being real, man.
Yeah, he just tries to be real, you know. And even if he sees things in a very different way than you do, Chick-fil-A! He's at least trying to keep it a buck with you, you know?
Absolutely. I 100% agree. All right, well, thank you for watching this album reaction. This was College Dropout, Kanye West. We highly, highly recommend this album.
Yep, fantastic.
If you aren't subscribed, feel free to subscribe.
Recommend us another album to review, too.
Recommend us anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Like singles, do ranking lists of artists. Like, we're down to do anything. We just want to know what you guys want to hear. If you haven't already, go subscribe to our sports podcast. Last Word Sports. It should be linked somewhere in our channel. And we are starting a movie channel soon.
Because you guys don't have enough of us already.
So be on the lookout for that. Should be on our socials at some point. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. This has been The Last Word.